Hello everybody and welcome back to How to Thaumcraft with the Hittite. Now, today we've got a couple of things to talk about. First off, I'm going to have a little bit of an update about Energized nodes. I've been playing around with them a little bit off screen and I found out there's actually a bit of diminishing returns when you get past about 100 vis in a node. For instance, this node in here, as you can tell by the larger corona around it, is much larger than the one I showed you. It had actually 200 vis, but it only gets 15 centivis out of it. I found this out when, just for fun, I gave myself a node with about 1,000 vis each, and just to give you an idea, the corona was out to here on it. It was insane. I got rid of it almost immediately because I wouldn't be able to record. But anyway, I put in a node with over 1,000 vis and only got 34 centivis each. So there's a little bit of a diminishing returns thing going on. Just a heads up in case you want to mess with that. Now then, what I actually want to talk about today is two different things. The focal manipulator right here and the Osmotic Enchanter from the Thaumic Tinkerer add-on. First off, the focal manipulator. You can find it under the Thaumaturgy tab up here next to the transducer. Nothing here we haven't shown how to make before, just put it in the workbench and put it together. What the focal manipulator does is it gives upgrades to your foci, sort of like enchanting an item would. Unlike enchanting, it uses experience. Like for instance, the level 1 only uses 8 experience, but there are 5 levels you can do, and you can choose a different thing for each one. For instance, frugal would reduce how much vis it uses. Potency upgrades how powerful it is, but it doesn't make it more expensive. And there's some special ones, like for instance with the excavation focus, you can add treasure, which is basically like looting on a pickaxe, or fortune on a pickaxe. Looting is for swords. Anyway, you can take treasure 3 times. I've explored some of this, but just a heads up, one of the level 5 upgrades is the Silk Touch, and you can't have both treasure and Silk Touch. They don't really work together. So, just a heads up. Now, to do it, you just put in a focus, choose which one you want, and then click here. It'll use this much centivis, and this much experience right off the bat. Not a whole lot to it. I'm actually not going to upgrade this one right now because I want to compare the baseline to an upgraded one. And hold on, I'm going to get rid of this rain. Now then. Alright, I've actually got 3 excavation focuses. Here's one that I actually put treasure 3 on. It's kind of fun. But anyway, first off, the basic excavation focus. It's pretty useful. But let's compare it to an excavation focus with potency 5 on it. What did I just hit? Hold on. Sorry about that. And a level 5 upgrade will cost you 50 vis in one go, but 50 experience in one go, and it'll take about 10 minutes with all of the centivis, or probably longer if you don't have, a giant node energized. I did not want to place that there. Anyway, it's fun, and you can have fun finding the different upgrades for the different foci. The other thing we wanted to talk about today was the Osmotic Enchanter. You can find it under Thaumic Tinkering down here, and it's one of my favorite things about Thaumic Tinker, at least until you get to the really in-gamey stuff. Down here, along with, once you unlock it, a whole bunch of extra different enchantments, some of dubious usefulness, some of really good usefulness, but we'll talk about that. Well, probably won't talk about the enchantments, other than just a heads up, do not put over over 1 point of ascent boost on pants unless you have a lot of feather fall. I once put ascent boost 4 on some pants because that's what they go on, and I rocketed up about 100 blocks straight up. Very dangerous. Anyway, Osmotic Enchanter. First, you have to unlock Spellbinding Cloth, and it's a reagent used to make it. So, Spellbinding Cloth, you need enchanted fabric, which I don't think I mentioned how to make, but it's just wool and 4 pieces of string in a workbench. But Spellbinding Cloth, alchemy recipe, I've got it set up over here. Put enchanted fabric in, Perditio, Permutatio, Praecantatio, Spellbinding Cloth. Ta-da! Now it's very important that you don't use the Spellbinding Cloth, and I should probably mention Spellbinding Cloth, you put it in an enchanted object in a workbench. For instance, I've got an enchanted bow right here. Put the Spellbinding Cloth in there with it, and you'll get an unenchanted item out. It removes all the enchantments. But it uses a little durability when it does that, and to use it to make an Osmotic Enchanter, it has to have full durability, so make sure you have a fresh one. Now, to make the Osmotic Enchanter, I need to be able to fly up here to my infusion altar. Now, the recipe here, you need a normal enchanting table, 5 obsidian tiles. Those are found at the Eldritch obelisks that I showed off in a previous episode. 2 pieces of thaumium and Spellbinding Cloth. As well as far as Essentia goes, you need Alienus, which is Eldritch and stuff. The best place I've found to get those is from Ender Pearls, or Obsidian Totems sometimes. But you need Potentia from coal. Cognito, usually get that from paper. Vacuos, I usually get that from like empty jars or things like that. And Praecantatio, we've talked about that. Anyway, start the infusion up. And this is a Dangers level infusion, so make sure your altar is very stable. I don't think it's supposed to be doing that. I'm not seeing lightning effects, so it's probably okay. And yes, I have been stabilizing my altar a lot. How we doing? Got the major Essentia out of the way. Okay. Oh good, right at sunrise. No instability. I fell down a hole. Okay, absorbing reagents. There go the tiles. And the thaumium. And finally the cloth. And we're done. We have an Osmotic Enchanter. Now then, come back down here and you gotta set it up. You can't just set the Osmotic Enchanter down and expect it to work. You have to set it up properly. You need 6 pillars of obsidian totems, those things you find around sinister nodes. They need to be at least 3 high, and they don't have to be in this formation, just anywhere nearby will do. On top of them, each one you need a piece of Nidor. And finally, you have an Osmotic Enchanter. What does this do? Well, it allows you to enchant without using experience. It also allows you to choose which enchantments you want before, they updated how enchanting works in Minecraft. For instance, right now you need an item to be enchanted and a wand, or scepter in this case. Now then, for this thaumium sword, I'm going to put sharpness 5 and looting 3. And repair, that's an enchantment that's added on with Thaumic Tinkerer. What that does is it'll take Vis from a wand I'm in my inventory and slowly repair the item I'm using. Which level you put on it changes how fast it'll repair. I usually just put 1. And one more, I'm going to put Vampirism on, which, just like it sounds, it steals health. Now then, using this is going to take a lot of Vis, but luckily the discounts from wands or worn apparel does apply. Creepy, ain't it? But very useful. Sadly, we're just a little short on Ordovis for this one. Luckily, you just take out the old wand and put in a new one, and it's done. And voila, fully enchanted. Go stab some things with it. And that's the Focal Manipulator and the Osmotic Enchanter. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and hope you enjoy upgrading your stuff to be more deadly or useful or whatever. And remember, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. If you like. If you don't, no biggie. And see you next time.